Hey, on consent, we did have a speaker that was asking for, I think, D through J, if I'm correct. So, and I think primarily what it was just the costs is what was being asked. And I know I didn't have enough time to go through all of it. Some is coming back to us, like the roof at the fire department from conduct of business before. Some are zero cost, one's $5,000, et cetera. Why don't we go ahead and take items A through C just to begin, if we could, by council?
I'll make a motion to approve those.
I second.
Motion made and second to approve items A, B, and C under consent. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, unanimous. City manager, or what would be best if, I think Mr. Mersney wanted to have the facts of the dollars that are attributed to each one of these actions.
I think.
Sure. Okay. So I think the primary thing is the dollar amount of expenditure for each item. Is there a way in which we can do that? Just in general, going through and just saying which item, what cost there is?
Sure, I could do that. So just for clarity, council is not asking for the items to be pulled, just would like a quick general statement
A
on
general
cost.
statement, I think, is what is being requested, to know what the dollar amounts are.
Okay. So, as I will go from the information in the published materials that's available on our website. And so item 5D, which is a resolution approving an amendment to the employee agreement between the City of San Bruno and the city clerk. That is an increase of 5% in the employee salary. It's a what we would consider a typical step increase. The only reason why this item is coming before council because that position reports to the city council, and there is a new California government code that as of I think 2 years ago, any position that reports to the legislative body, any change in compensation needs to be at a public meeting. And so that's a 5% increase of roughly $5,000. The next item, and I'll actually do 5E and 5F together. They are authorizing the city manager to execute agreements for 1, sanitary sewer hydraulic modeling services, and water hydraulic modeling services. The cost for both of these contracts to the city will be zero. We are setting up essentially a master contract with 2 separate vendors to provide this service. The hydraulic modeling services will be paid for by private development as a requirement. Private developers, if they meet certain thresholds, have to do hydraulic modeling, and those will be done on a reimbursement basis. So we're essentially getting authority to set up blanket purchase orders for these vendors, for these 2 particular vendors. 5G. I do not think has no fiscal impact to the city. It's it's adopting the Caltrans consultant procurement manual to apply to our purchases here. Item 5H is adoption of a resolution amending the city classification plan by adopting a position description and salary range for a head-end technician. That item is establishing a new classification. It is not adding a new head count to the city's personnel count. It's just a new classification. And should someone be assigned to that classification, it would be a reassignment. As noted in the staff report, it will add an additional $741.40 per month of additional cost, because that is a higher classification than the existing classifications we have. Item 5I, which is an adoption of a resolution accepting work that was already completed at Fire Station 52. As noted in that staff report, that is adoption of a project to essentially replace the roof at Fire Station 52. The total cost of that contract was $41,440 paid for from the city's capital equipment reserve. And the total, actually, that was the contract cost with the change order and minor things. The total was $44,280 as reported in the staff report. The next item, 5J, is a resolution asking council to adopt a resolution approving the declaration of a homeless shelter crisis in connection with the County of San Mateo's Homeless Emergency Aid Program. That's actually a resolution that is asking the city to declare a homeless, let me get the wording right, declaration of a homeless shelter crisis. It actually allows the county to apply for a one-time grant fund from the state of California called the HEAP Grant Fund, and the county has been allocated $4.9 million by formula. And should the city of San Bruno choose to have services provided in San Bruno, not just countywide, from these grant funds, the state SB 850 actually requires that cities adopt a declaration of a shelter crisis. And so it's actually no expenditure of general fund money. It's allowing the city to actually receive state funds through the county and have them go to address the homeless crisis that is present in our city.
Thank you, City Manager, for being able to do that quickly. Yes. Which item? Or just in general?
I just wanted to see if it was okay. I just had a question from one of our audience members about item I, and being that the city manager answered or provided an update on that. The project was done under budget by 20% from $50,000 to $44,000. And the other question was also addressed or pretty much answered about what this homeless policy or action is enabling the city to do. And it's another example of that it's expensive and we need additional resources to address the homeless situation. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay. Again, thank you, City Manager. Now, under consent, we have items D through J. I'd like to have a motion and a second, and I do want, for the record, that on item J, I will not and will be not voting on that one, and that is just because of where the homeless shelter territories are allocated within this resolution or within close to my proximity where I live. So.
Through the chair. So can I make a motion then to
Yes.
approve everything but that, and then we'll vote on that one separately?
Certainly.
Okay, so I will make that motion then to approve, I believe it was D through I.
He does that.
Okay. Second?
Okay, we have a motion for D through I. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. And then on J, for myself, as well as Councilmember Davis, also will not be voting on that item for same reasons as myself.
Okay, so I will make a motion to approve item J.
Second? Oh. All in favor?
Aye.
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 For the record, that's an approval by 3 with 2 recused.
Yes. Thank you, Irene.
Through the chair.
Yes.
I just want to make one comment that, we've made a conscious effort to try to streamline the way our meetings or the way we conduct business at these meetings. And the fact that we put things under consent is in no way intended to be somehow hiding things from the public. The entire packet of everything that we have to base our decisions on is on the website. We get it at the same time as the public gets it. And so there is no intent to obscure anything. So I just want to make sure the public understands that because things go to consent, it doesn't mean that we're trying to hide it. It's still very public. It's still accessible to everyone. And it's just, they're items that really don't require a large amount of discussion, and that's why they're not on our regular conduct of business. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Irene.
Thank you. And I'd also like to say that in our staff reports, it's very clearly spelled out under fiscal impact what the fiscal impact is for each item. So if you're looking through the consent calendar or through our agenda, that's what your concern is. That's where you should look.